Hello everyone, welcome back to Selenium WebDriver with Java September 2025 batch session 11. In today's session, you will learn how to read and write data in Excel sheet using Apache poi and Java map interface. Along with, you will learn keyword driven and hybrid framework in Selenium. So let's start with how to read and write data in the Excel sheet using Apache poi and Java map interface. So in the last session or session number 10, you already started learning about the different Selenium framework and how we can read the data from the Excel sheet. You also learned about the data driven framework. So data driven framework is nothing, right, where you are trying to store data in some external sources. It can be database, Excel and other stuff, right, XML file. But here you have learned how to store the data externally in the Excel sheet and how we can read the data, how we can reiterate, write different data input in the same test cases, and how we can execute the same test cases again and again with variation of the data. Now, in today's session, we will learn how to read and write data simultaneously. So, reading and writing data from Excel using Java's map interface and Apache poi involves mapping Excel row or specific column to key value pair within a map. This is particularly useful for handling structured data where user want to associate a unique identifier or it is a name as a key with a set of attribute which is nothing but the value. First, you need to add the necessary Apache poi maven dependency, primarily poi and poi-ooxml dependency for .xlsx file in the project pom.xml file. This dependency will provide the necessary classes and the method required to interact with the Excel file in Selenium with Java. After that, user need to initialize XSF workbook and create an object for the XSF sheet. Then they need to store the required data in the tree map where the key represents a unique identifier for each row, example row number or an ID, and the value is an array or list of objects representing the cell values for that row. Once it is done, user can iterate through the T maps key set to get the keys row identifier. For each key, retrieve the corresponding object or row data. After that, user can create a new excessive row in the sheet for each entry, then iterate through the object to create excessive cell object and set their values using set cell value, and create a file output stream and write excessive workbook to the Excel file, close the output stream. So that is the way user will be able to create the Excel sheet in the project or anywhere, any desired location. Once you write the data or create the Excel sheet, after that, if you want to read the data from the Excel sheet, you need to take the help from the file input stream of the Java. So create a file input stream to read the Excel files and then initialize an excessive workbook from it. Get the intended excessive sheet. Iterate through the row of the sheet for each row. Iterate through its cells. Extract cell values and store them in an object like list of object. Use a suitable key to store the object in the tree map. Close the input stream and workbook. So that is the you can read the data as well from the Excel sheet. Now let's see the implementation. Okay, so what I already did, this is our project, whatever we are using, September 25 Selenium batch. Okay, and in this project I have created a new class, so I'll be explaining it, called read and write Excel data. So how we can like do the Excel operation, I already discussed in the last session. First you need to go to the Excel normal way if you want to read it, right? Go to the Excel. Okay, where the first is the path, then the Excel name, Excel file extension. After that, you need to go to the sheet, then the workbook, then the row and column and cell. That is the way you can get it. But whenever you want to read, write the data, how can you do it? You can get some Excel reference. Okay, then or you can directly try to create open a blank Excel. Okay, Excel workbook, then worksheet. After that, worksheet is open, you can first identify the row and column, you can try to add the data, and then you can save the Excel in some desired location with the help of the file class. So that is the way you can do it. Apart from that, you can already have some Excel already there with some sheet defined, and you can store all the information there. So that is the two approaches possible. So here what we are doing, we are trying to create a global variable for the file class object static, so that at the class level we can use it in any method. because we will be writing different method for reading, writing, or using other way, right? So what we are doing, static file class, object is the file, and new file, system.get property, user.directory. This is nothing but the current project path. So you no need to worry about that. Same code you can copy and write it in other system, because what is the reason we are using the same project. So that is the reason, in case you are using my code, your project can change, right? But if you use this one, system.get property user directory, it will give you the current project path. After that, you can give src test resources, okay, where you can store the file, and this is the file name we are trying to do it, right? Test data.xlx. If you expand it, nothing is there as of now. Okay, nothing is there here, it is blank file. src test resources. So this is the global variable we are doing for the file class. Now we have created a method, right? Public void at the rate test, so that it will be taking the testng annotations. Okay, read Excel data, and we are giving some exceptions. You can use IO exception or exception, because whenever you are dealing with the Excel sheet, like, you need to handle this kind of exception. First, I'm trying to create a blank workbook, not the Excel sheet. It is a workbook. Okay, we are trying to call the excessive workbook. Workbook equal new excessive workbook. Before that, you already learned in the last session that two dependencies you need to add it, which is like Apache PY dependency. One is the POI and one is the poi-ooxml dependency. So that relevant POI, right, the class and interface, you can call it. So this is the two dependencies you need to add it. Both will be same version, POI and poi-ooxml dependency. Okay, now what we are doing here, we are creating a blank workbook with the help of the excessive workbook class. We are creating an object called workbook, and with the help of the workbook object, we are trying to create a sheet here. Okay, workbook.create sheet method and giving the sheet name, not the Excel sheet name, it is sheet name, student information, and we are storing in excessive sheet. Now we are trying to create a map where the first one is like key and value pair. This is the map you already learned in the Java collection framework. So we are trying to create a map, empty map, okay, with string and object type. So string is your key and object is the value, is key value pair combination. Now we are trying to add the data into the map. So data.put is the method we can call it, and this is the sequence we are adding it 1, 2, 3, 4. First row is nothing but like the header of the map, and second row onward we are trying to add the data. So header ID it will be definitely integer, age will be integer, class will be string, name will be string, and last name will be also string. So this is the key. Key should be like anything, any format string we are doing it. Okay. Now we are trying to iterate over data and writing into the sheet. So what we are doing, we are trying to understand or like store the key set, right? So we are calling the data variable, whatever we created for the map, and then we are trying to call the method called key set. We are getting storing that in the key set variable with the help return type as set of string. Now we are defining a integer row number 0, because we will be starting with row 0. Then we are trying to use an enhance for loop. String for enhance for loop string key and the old variable key set. This is the new variable, where within this enhance for loop we are trying to create a row in the sheet. Okay, so sheet we are calling the sheet object, whatever you already created, like the workbook sheet object. After that sheet object, if you press dot, you can create a row, and we can use be giving row plus plus, because starting from 0, so that it will be like adding it, and we are storing in the row variable. After that, we are creating an object, and we are trying to get the key of the object. So that is the we already get the row. Now we are trying to get the column. So we are storing in some base variable cell number equal to 0, and now this object, because this is the row, right, and this is the column, we are trying to iterate. Okay, so how many column data is there and how many row is there. Okay, now like we are trying to object, this is the object and return type is object, so we are giving return type, and old variable and new variable we are doing, and trying to access the cell. Okay, so again same way whatever way we are doing, but here instead of the sheet object reference, we are trying to take the row object reference. Then we are giving some condition, because in this particular stub, right, we have added different type of data. We have added integer, we have added string. You can add other data also, like double, whatever required. Okay, so I want to read everything, okay, from different format. So we are giving some condition. If object instance of string, then I will try to set the value as a string. In case object instance of integer, then I will try to set the value as integer. Otherwise, you will be creating lot of problem, because it will be everything, it will be considered as a normal string, so it will be creating the problem. Then you want to write the workbook, so we'll be calling that file output stream. We are creating the object called out, and we are giving the file reference, and we are trying to call that workbook object, and we are calling the write method. We are giving the out reference. We are closing the object. So that is the way we are trying to write the data. Okay, with the help of the file, same file reference, whatever we have defined as a global variable. Now, once write is done, you can write the code. Right, you can try to execute the code, or if you want to read and write separately, you can have remaining line of code, right, to read the data from the same object reference or same file. Now what we will be doing for reading the data, we'll be creating an object for the file input stream with the same file reference. That is the reason we have defined the file object as a globally, so that I can use it anywhere within the class level, and we have given the static keyword. Then what we are doing, once our file input stream object is done, we are trying to create the workbook. We are giving some new variable name, otherwise it might be having some problem, right? Old workbook reference it can consider, and before adding any data it will consider also. That is the reason we are giving new workbook. So same excessive workbook of class we are using, but we are using a new workbook variable. Similarly, we want to create this new variable called seat1, workbook reference get seat, and this is the name we have already given it, right, while like writing the data. Then we are using enhance for loop. Okay, so two for loop. First one is will be returning the row. Okay, this is the seat1 reference and new row variable, and for the column it is cell. Okay, the row variable and new cell variable. Then we are using data formatter. Why? Because we are using string, integer all the way, right? In case you are not using formatter, whenever you want to print them in the console, you'll be having the problem. So we'll be creating object for the data formatter, and with the help of the formatter, in case it's a string, we want to store as a string, right? As a normal variable string cell value. Then we want to convert it. In case it's numeric, it will print the numeric value. In case it is a string, it will print the new string value. In case it's other way decimal, you can add this line of code accordingly. And every line we are trying to give a tab, every field, and every line we are trying to give a new line, system dot out dot println. That is the way we are writing the code, and we are closing the workbook. That's all. Okay. So now again I am discussing what we are doing. So first thing is that we are trying to add the dependency for firstly in the project from the XML file Apache and Apache py and poi-ooxml dependency. We are trying to create a class where we are defining a global variable for the file, and we are giving the new file system.get property user directory. So that is nothing but the current project path, and we are giving some other extended path, right? So this is the path where you want to store the file src test resources, because in generally whatever file you are dealing, especially Excel file, data dependency file, you need to always store src test resources folder, and we are giving the name of the file called testdata.xlx, and we are writing the method. First we are creating the new workbook, then we are like creating a sheet name which is called student information. We are trying to create a map with the key value pair combination. Key is a string, value is an object, and first row we are giving as a header, and second row wise we are just trying to store the data, like, and then with the help of the key set we are trying to read the row, and again we are trying to, with the help of the object, we are trying to read the column, and like we are storing, in case it is a string we will be storing the string value, in case it is integer we will be storing the integer value based on the map definition, and we are trying to write the data into the file and closing the workbook, like file output stream object. Then same way, same in the same loop or same thing, same file we want to read it. So with the help of the file out input stream, we are trying to create a new workbook variable, and we are trying to create a sheet. Now we will be using enhance for loop, a for loop, and two loops like inner for loop, outer for loop. With the help of the outer for loop, inner for loop will be reading the row, and with the help of the inner for loop, will be reading the cell value. And here we'll be using the formatter, because otherwise, it will not be considered the string or double or integer value. With the help of the formatter, we are converting it to string or integer, whatever is there, and we are trying to read the value. And for every data, we are trying to give a tab, so that it will be tab like that. And for every row, we are trying to give a new line. So that is the way we are doing it. Now let's try to run it. You can run it from the same class as we are using testng. Also, you can try to run from the testng.xml file as well. If you try to run it, here option will be coming as from the class level testng test. Also, you can map it to your testng.xml file. You can run it. Now you could see it's running. So first thing, it will create the Excel file, right? It will try to write the data, And once writing is data is done, then it will try to read the data in the console. Okay. Okay, you could see in the console, right? So like it is reading the data, but writing you will not able to visualize here. What is the way it did? First row we have tried to add the header. What is the header? ID, age, class, name, last name. What is the ID and age? It is nothing but the integer, right? And this age, sorry, class, name and last name, it is a nothing but string. And second row onward you could see this coming like reading the value. Like for the first row, actual data row is like okay. So for that first row, it is like that data. Okay, first data. Okay, first row is header, second row is the first data, then other data. So it is accordingly properly coming right here. Okay. Now, how where we have created the Excel sheet. Let's see. Okay, let's right click. Okay, refresh the project first, because reading part you are able to see it, but writing part, how in case writing is not happening, how will read it, right? First writing is happening, first it is creating the data. Okay, this is the writing part, right? Code, it is writing the data. And where it is writing in the current project path, then src test resources folder. So go here, src test resources folder, and expand it. You could able to see that excel file, right? Test data.xlx. Now you cannot do it like way, so just copy that path, folder path completely. Click on the properties. Okay, and do it the path. Okay, now you're able to see the test data.xl file. You could see the date 29th October 2025, 7:27 p.m. Now you can open the Excel sheet and you could verify all the details that your Excel sheet, right, reading is also, writing is also happening. Now see, this is the path we are also already able to validate, right? Current project src test resources folder, this is the name, test data.xlx, right? This is the name. Now what we are doing, we are trying to create the sheet, which is nothing but the student information. So you could see a student information row is, a tab is getting generated, sheet generated. Now what are the details we are adding in the with the help of the map? This is your row, ID, age, class, name coming, and how many data you want to add it, right? There are 5 data variation you want to add it. Okay, you could see all are there coming here properly. Okay, so that is the way we are writing the data first, and from here we are reading the data. See clearly in the console, right? This is the first, this is the header, and this is the data. You can validate it properly. Now if you change it, same Excel will be replaced. Okay, and you can get the details in the output also. You can add one more row if required. Say give it 7. Okay, give it, let's say class 2. Roll number is, say sorry, age is ID is 2. Okay, age is, say 12. Okay, maybe class is 5 or 6, you can give, that's fine. Another name, okay, called Raj. Okay, Bharma, I give it. But in case you want to write the data, so in the same Excel it will be replacing, but the Excel need to be closed. Okay, now let's save and run it, and let's see whether Excel is getting updated, and also you're able to get the proper, you are able to read the data also from the Excels based on the update done. Go to the console again, test case got passed. Now you could see your data is, newly data is added here, right? Which is newly data 2, ID, age is 12, like class 6, Raj Verma. Okay, so total one header, and how many row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 row is there. Now let's refresh the project again. Okay, but whenever you want to read the data, Excel sheet can be open. But whenever you are writing the data, Excel sheet should be always closed. Refresh it, and you could see your Excel sheet got updated. Now if you open the project, you could see your Excel sheet got updated. What is the timing? Test data.excel sheet 29th of November 2025, 7:31 p.m. Okay, now if you open it, you could able to see newly added row got added, right? This is the row added based on our code we have given. And that is the reason we're able to read it also. So fast writing is happening, and then it is happening as reading. Okay, so that is the way you can try to interact with the Excel sheet where you can parallelly read and write the data from the Excel sheet. Okay. Now we'll go to the next topics, which is nothing but the two important framework. One is the keyword driven framework and one is the hybrid framework. Okay. Now let's understand the framework part. So I already told framework is nothing but a set of tools, utility, and rules through which we'll be trying to design the structure of the project, and we'll be trying to write our code diligently, and it will help us to maintain the proper way, so that it will help us to write the code easily and to maintain the code also easily. And in the past session, in the previous session, you already learned about data-driven framework, but here we'll be learning about keyword-driven and hybrid framework. So keyword-driven framework is a technique in which all the operation or instruction to be performed are written separately from the actual test cases. The similarity it has with data-driven framework is that the operation to be performed is again stored in some external file like Excel sheet. User can easily control and specify the functionality they want to test. Okay, here you could see that this is the part, right? We'll be having our keyword library through which we'll be interacting with our automation script. Okay, keyword library and automation script will be interacting with the AUT application under test, and both the combination will be there. So that is the way we'll be trying to write the keyword. Just suppose if you want to do the operation called click, we'll be writing a keyword called click. We'll be writing all our code. If you want to do some enter some value, we'll be writing a keyword called enter value, and we can call it accordingly. So that is the way it is possible, right, to have all the keyword defined, and those keyword we can use across different kind of similar locator. So that is the objective. And keyword driven framework. Let's see the what is the key advantage of the keyword driven framework is having. Then we'll understand the disadvantages difference between the keyword and data-driven framework. Then we'll be slowly going to the hybrid framework. A single keyword can be used across multiple test scripts, so the code is reusable. User can write the detailed test plan having desired input and verification data in the form of simple and convenient spreadsheet. In case some expert having expertise of scripting language used by the automation tool, they can create utility script well before the creation of the detailed test plan. That is the very important. So your keyword driven framework development can start even your application is not ready. Then the testing engineer is able to use the automation tool immediately through the spreadsheet input method, and for this they need not master the concert scripting language used by the automation tool. User become productive with the new testing tools far quickly, since they require to understand the format for use in the test plan and various desired keyword. This permit deferment or rescheduling of more exhaustive training on new tool at some more convenient time in future. Keyword can be reused across multiple test scenario and project, reducing code duplication. That is the major advantage, right? In case you are writing the same keyword, you can use it in any kind of field, similar kind of field. So you don't need to write the same code again and again. And in case you need to modify, you will be only modifying only one place, so that wherever that keyword is being called, it will be updated everywhere. Changes in the application only require update to the relevant keyword function, not every test case that use it. Test design can begin before the application under test is fully developed using documentation or requirement. So that is the key. These are the key, major key advantage of the keyword driven testing framework. Now let's understand about the disadvantage. So everything in our world, right, will be having some advantage, disadvantage. You already seen about that whenever you understand the data driven framework. But here we'll be understanding the disadvantage of the keyword driven framework. Initial cost of setting up the framework is high and time consuming and complex. So for any framework, it is very, very common nature. Initially, you need to invest lot of times and lot of resources. Okay, so to develop it, and you will be not be getting any ROI or return of investment. Okay, once your thing is ready, you have already developed couple of stuff, then you can get get the real time benefit or the ROI. Later point of time, you can add n number of test cases easily. That is the benefit of the keyword, like any framework. The tester is required to have great expertise over the scripting language of the test tool, so that they can successfully create customized functions and utility required for the application. Although this statement is valid for all other methods as well, the tester is required to learn several special format and keyword for creating the customized utility required for the application. This process can take considerable time and can have adverse effect on the test plan development. However, this problem arises in the beginning only, and when the tester gets enough acquaintance with the process, they are able to create test cases much faster. The abstraction layer can make debugging failed test more difficult, as pinpointing the exact failure point requires navigating through multiple layers. A large number of keywords can become cumbersome to manage and maintain without proper structure. So that is all about the keyword driven framework. Okay. Now what are the key differences between data driven and keyword driven framework? Keyword driven framework is easy to maintain due to more abstraction layer between the test script, data set and keyword, etc. Comparatively, it is harder. Data driven framework is harder to maintain since the abstraction only between the test script and test data. In keyword driven framework, planning has to be extensive and precise, and whereas for the data driven framework, planning is easy since it's only needed the test data and test script. Keyword driven framework, it is possible to write the test script even before the product has finished the development stage or product is ready for testing. Whereas data-driven framework, your objective is you are right, like you are executing the same test case again and again and again with the different variety of the data. So until your product is not ready, application is not ready, you cannot use it. So one must need to wait for the development to finish or application to be ready before writing a test case with the help of the data-driven framework. So that are these are the primary or the key differences between data driven and keyword driven testing framework. Now let's understand what is hybrid framework. Then I will cover both the framework altogether. So I have already told multiple times, so hybrid is nothing but a combination of data driven and keyword driven framework. So that you can try to have all the actions through keyword. Okay, apart from that, same test case you can try to run with the different set of the data with the help of data driven approach. So it is a mix. That is the reason it's called hybrid. Hybrid framework in Selenium is a concept where testers are using the advantage of both keyword-driven framework as well as data-driven framework. It is an easy-to-use framework which allows manual tester to create test cases by just looking at the keyword, test data, and object repository without coding in the framework. Here, the keyword as well as the test data are externalized, means you can store in some different external thing, right? Database, XML file, like or Excel sheet like that. Keyword are maintained separate Java class file, and test data can be maintained either in properties file, Excel file, or can be used or can use the data provider of a test engine framework. So this is the all about the keyword driven framework. What are the key advantages keyword driven framework is having? Maintainability, hybrid framework is having, right? The hybrid framework is built with several reusable module or function library that are developed with the following features in mind. Maintainability, hybrid framework significantly reduce maintenance effort by separating test data, object locator and keyword from the test logic. Update and changes can be made in one place without modifying the entire test suite. Reusability, it allows to reuse test cases and library functions. Manageability, effective test design, execution and testability is possible through hybrid framework. Accessibility, hybrid framework is comparatively easy to design, develop, modify and debug test case while executing. Availability, it allows to schedule automation execution, right, without manual intervention. Reliability, due to advanced error handling and scenario recovery, reliability is more through this framework. Flexibility, the framework independent of system or environment under test. Measurability, customizable reporting of test result ensuring the quality output. Scalability, new test cases and modules can be added easily without major changes to the existing structure, making it suitable for large and complex applications. Now let's understand the disadvantages of the hybrid framework. Again, mostly it will be common, like whatever you already seen on the data-driven keyword framework, because it is a combination of keyword and keyword and data-driven framework only. So hybrid framework is nothing new. So it increased initial effort and complexity. The initial setup of this framework is time-consuming because it involves careful planning, structuring reusable modules, defining keyword and mapping functions. Maintenance challenges, test script can become difficult to maintain as the application evolves, and even minor reward changes may break test, necessitating frequent update to the automation script. Requires high expertise because any of the framework Until your resources is not expertise in your relevant tools, framework, technology, programming language, they cannot easily build it or they cannot easily maintain the code. So building a hybrid framework demand in-depth knowledge of combining various methodology like data-driven, keyword, and modular approaches, requiring skill automation tester. Code reusability issue. The test case and underlying code can become difficult to read and understood, especially for team member not involved in the initial development. Limited portability. Test case created within a specific hybrid framework might not be easily portable or reusable across different applications without Significant modification. So this is all about the keyword and hybrid framework. Now let's see the implementation of keyword and hybrid framework. So I already created this project for the keyword and hybrid framework. So this is the project I have created. So I'll be explaining both at the same time. What is keyword driven framework and what is hybrid framework. Okay, so this is the project structure. You can create a Maven project, right? You already seen how to know the how to create the Maven project. So simply new Maven project, or you can go here other. Okay, here you can search with Maven, and you can try to create a Maven project. Okay, in case you are having the project, you can import it also to your Eclipse, and here you can give some right use that one create project create simple project archetype selection, see for archetype selection you can give some name, suppose a test, an artifact id, anything. So your group id is nothing but your organization specifier. So here I can give Haradhan automation library, and I can give any artifact id, suppose say framework project, like that is the way, and you can click on finish simply. So automatically your project will be created, and you'll be able to see your pom.xml file, and this is the folder that you'll be having src main java, src main resources, src test java, test resources, and your java library will be added. No other maven dependency will be added, testing also will not be added. So what you need to do, you need to go to your pom.xml file, you need to add this couple of dependencies. Selenium Java dependency you can get it from the like Maven repository. After that, you need to add this Apache poi, and the poi-ooxml dependency. These three things you need to add it first. Okay. So automatically your all the dependencies will be added here, Maven dependency. After that, you can use testng add. You can add as a dependency. Otherwise, you can select the project, and you can right click, and then you can go to the properties. Okay. And here you can go to the Java build path, and you can try to add library, and here you can select testng, and you can select next, and you can just finish it. So testng also will be added to your project, so that you can create or convert it to testng file, or you can use the testng annotation called add the red test before test after test, all this stuff. After that, you can convert this project to testng. So this is the testng, and convert it once your code is ready, and you can give some right suit name, test name, and what are the classes you want to use it in the file. You can do it, so that you can run from the testing XML file. Now what we can do, we will be creating an Excel file. Excel file you can create in the test project itself. So just how you can do it, just open the project, go to the properties, take the project path. Okay, go to the resources, take this project path. So initially, I'm just talking about the initial part. And if you open, and here you can just open, create the Excel sheet, .xlx file, and you can give some name. Here I have given test case like that. You can change it also if required. So this is the project that you are able to see it, right? And we have created some other file object or properties you could see. Now here test cases, what we are doing. So in the test cases, if you open it, in the test case Excel file, first we are giving some name of the tab, right, or sheet. I have given keyword framework. You can give any other framework also, whatever is required. Now, what is our objective we are trying to perform here? So this is the Facebook site. I want to create couple of test cases, not a single test case, where I want to drive the testing through the Excel sheet. Okay, through keyword and hybrid approach. So this is the Facebook site. So I want to enter some value in the email ID password with multiple combination. I want to click on login button. I want to click on the create new account button. I want to click on the forgotten password. That is the way I want my validate the Facebook page like that way. So this is my different requirement for this page. So I can have different kind of test cases, right? So what I am doing, I have after creating the Excel sheet, I have created given a sheet name, and this is the header. So okay, I'm creating couple of column with test case, then keyword, then object, is nothing but the you are interacting with the variable, and keyword is nothing but the actions whatever you are performing. Object type means different element locator. Out of these 8 element locator you already know, like id, name, class name, css, xpath, link text, partial link, whatever way. And in case you want to pass any value, you can give it. Suppose in case you want to open a url, you can need to pass some value. In case you want to interact with some input, you need to pass any value. But wherever the value is not required, you can keep it blank. Okay, then now understand, this is your first test case. I want to open the Facebook home page. So yeah, we are defining as a test case in the column A, and relevant column I am keeping it blank. So I'll be letting you know the logic why I am doing it blank. So whenever you are having the test case other column, you can keep it blank. But whenever your test case column is blank, you can have your step associated. Now what we are doing? If you want to open the Facebook page, you need to have some method like called navigate to. So you are giving this method keyword name called navigate to URL. You can give anything like navigate to Facebook, navigate to URL. You can give any name, but this method will be defining the actual step later point of time. But you should maintain some process so that anyone can understand what you want to do. And here object is not required, object type is not required because we are just trying to access URL. So we can give some URL value. We are giving something called Facebook URL. That value we can define in other location. That's, we'll leave it for now. Second test case, login to Facebook homepage with invalid credential set 1. You can have n number of set, right? You can have 10 different set. You want to check whether login is successful or not, like that. So what this again, this row is completely blank. Another row, like we are having the action, so that is the reason your test case column is completely blank. We are navigating to the URL first. So object is not required, object type is not required, and Facebook URL. And then we are trying to set the value where we have given some variable name. This is the variable name we've given in this in text box, right? Facebook name, so that you can understand easily username. And which properties we are trying to identify, we'll try to identify through id properties, right? Maybe we can go to inspect. We are trying to identify with the help of the id property. You can take any other properties like whatever way you already learned. Id, class name, you can create xpath, css, whatever. Okay, and this is the value we want to pass it, Haradhan 111. Similar way, password field, we the method is again same, a keyword is again same. We want to set text because this is the text field, it will come on, right? That is the reason, same thing. Okay, and we are creating the variable called Facebook password, and we are trying to identify again id. You can identify with the name and other attribute also, that not be a problem. And we are trying to give this value. Now we are trying to click on the login button. So login button, you can see what are the different element locator attribute you can use. It name is there, class is there, or you can create a express the css. So here name is unique login, I can try to identify with the help of the name attribute. And it is a click button, so there is no need to do any input, right? Provided input, so it will be blank. Now this is your third test cases where we are trying to the same thing operate with different data comments. So that is the reason your data got changed. Otherwise, remaining stuff is still same. So that is how you can easily copy and paste an Excel sheet update. How you can do it, right? And once your framework is ready, and in case you are using the existing all the existing method or all the existing Excel, you don't need to update anything. You just need to update your Excel sheet to add more test cases like that. After that, your next test case is you want to click on the forgotten password. So again, this row is completely blank, other column, and we are navigating to the URL. After that, we are identifying some um, uh, element called forgotten password. This is the link, so I can identify with the help of the link or partial link. So I'll be just using it. Okay, and click is the operation. So that is the reason your value is blank. So this is the way I have written 4 test cases. Now, once your Excel file is ready, what you need to do? You need to first create a properties file. How you can do it? Properties file. So right click and try to click, go to here, new, and you can do it file, right? And you can give some file name. Extension will be always dot properties. Whatever name you can give it, extension name will be always dot properties. So what I have did, I have created a properties file at the project level, not any folder. Your Excel file, your properties file, all at the project level. So this is the properties file I have created. So what I have did, I have given this same variable name called Facebook URL. and I've given the value of this URL, right? So that in case I need to modify, I'll modify only one place. That is the reason in the real-time framework, you no need to deep hard code anything. In case you need to hard code, let's hard code in some properties in another way. So that in case you need to change it or only change it to one place. This is the key and value pair combination. We'll be trying to read it here. Okay. Then Facebook username. This is the variable we have defined for the uname field. Now we are trying to identify through the ID. Let's see what is the ID for this field. Okay, you could see ID equal to email. So this email value I have given here, the ID value. Here I am giving the locator techniques, and here I am mapping it the same variable. I am giving the value. Similarly, for the Facebook password field, I have given the ID value here also in the properties file. You could see this is the value is passed. So that is the given I am given. Now Facebook login button. What is the way I am trying to identify? I am identifying with the help of the name element locator technique. So let's see what is the name. Name equal to login. So this value I am copying and pasting it here in the properties file. Now, what are the new field here? These are the common fields. So you need to define only one time. The same field you can use it n number of time. You can have n number of test cases used, but only you'll be defining only one time. That is the reusability. And this is the new field again. Facebook forgotten password, which we are trying to understand or identify with the help of the link. So what is the link text? Like you could see forgotten password. This is the thing I copied and I have pasted in the this one equal to. That is the way I am doing it. Properties file. That's all. This is the part done. Now what I am doing, I am going to my src test Java folder. I am trying to create couple of package. Okay, one is for doing the Excel operations. Okay, one is for our different operations. Okay, reading the file, reading the other approach, and one is for test case where I can keep my test case. So that is the next thing. Now let's expand the operations package, and you can give other name whatever way feeling good. Now first thing is that we are trying to like read the properties file. So I have given the class name called read properties file.java. So in the class, I am creating a object or instance for the properties class globally at the class level. So property is the class available, and this is the variable new properties. Then I am trying to create a method like get properties, get object repository. Okay, here I am trying to read the properties file with the help of the input stream. You already see like file input stream, file output stream of reading and writing. Here you can use input stream. I'm creating a variable called stream, and properties file is placed in my project, current project. So I'm giving the path file input stream. Okay, this is the current path, and now what is the extension? Object.properties file, right? This is the name of the properties file. So that is the way I'm trying to access this properties file. Now, with the help of this variable and properties variable, I'm loading the streams, right? All the properties I'm loading, I'm returning P. What is the P? P is nothing but the properties class, so I'm returning here properties, and I'm giving some IO exception because whenever you are dealing with some file, input file, text file, all this stuff, you need to give some exception. So that is the my first method I'm writing to read the properties file, whatever available at the class level. Then I am creating one class called keyword operation.java, where I am defining web driver globally at the class level. I am creating a constructor. You'll be understanding why constructor is required. Okay, keyword operation, web driver passing, this dot driver equal driver. So this is the part you already learned most of that thing. Now I'm creating a like method. So method always here you can create it private or public depending on the nature, and I'm creating a private method get object. So first I want to get the object with the help of the locator strategy, because whatever I have given here like ID, name, class name, Excel, it is not able to understand. Selenium code is not able to understand, but I need to map it. You can give capital ID also, that not be a problem. Okay, now we are mapping it here. If object type equaling ignore case like xpath. So what I am doing, I am trying to call this method like by.xpath get property object name. From object name I am giving. Here you could see I am providing couple of key, right, argument, properties p, string object name and object type, and exception is there. So in case you it is there with xpath, So we'll be returning by.xpath, which is the Selenium code, which is the Selenium thing. Selenium will understand only by.xpath, by.linked as partial linked. Similarly, I'm giving all the other way. If it is equal to class name, it will be reading by.class name. In case it is a name, it will be reading by.name actually. Dot name, you could see. This is the name Selenium will understand, not this name, not this class name like that. Similarly, in case of ID, Selenium will understand by.id. Okay, that is the way. Whatever 8 locator technique is there, you can try to use it. In case nothing is mapping, it will throw the error called object, wrong object type. So that is the first method you need to write here. Then second method I'll be writing to do the actions. Whatever actions we have defined here, we need to understand what it will be doing. So we already did writing, we already mapping that here, right, with the properties file. We reading it. Now we are mapping this here, say with Selenium code. Now we try to define this part. Whatever actions uniquely only. In case one action use 10 times, but I will be defining only one time for the action. So that everywhere the same actions objective will be called. Okay, we have creating a method called perform where we are passing the properties, operations, object name, object type, and value. That value variable you can give anything. Okay, now you could say here switch case we are using. If operation to uppercase you can convert it is click. So it's click, right? This is the click method. Okay, what it will do? It will first identify the element, divert dot find element, and this is nothing but the object type, right? By dot xpath class name or other name, and it will click it. That is the command Selenium will understand, and then breaking. Why? Otherwise, it will try to perform the other action because your switch statement should always end with right break. So the as and condition is matching, it will break that switch case. So that is the first click operation. Divert dot find element. Here it is nothing, but this is the second method I have written. By dot id class name or expert dot click. This is the Selenium command. Now in case you set text, you can give any other name. That does not matter. But here you are defining the actual code. Divert dot find element dot send keys and value. You are passing it because this is the value you can pass it. Now navigate to URL. What you will be doing? You simply divert dot get and URL you can pass it with the value. That's all. So that is the way. In case you are having n number of stuff, right? Checkbox selection, validation. So you can have your code here and you can have the actions ready and you can define the schema for the actions. Now this is done. I already able to understand my actions. I am already able to understand my variable, locator, right? And also value, whatever I need to pass it. Now, next is that you need to interact with the Excel. You need to read the Excel sheet first with the Selenium command. So what I have did, I have created a package, Excel export and file IO operation, input output operation. I have created a class called read Excel file keywords. If you open it, what I have written? I have written a method called read Excel where I am passing file path, file name, and sheet name of the Excel sheet. Now you could see this is a file class. So this is the file path plus file name. That is the way I can get the file. Okay. Then with the help of the file input stream, I am trying to create an object or variable. Initially, I am creating as a null workbook. Then I am going to the workbook with the help of the file input stream. Then I am going to the sheet. I am going to the first file, then workbook and sheet. So this is the sheet I am returning. So this method is returning to till the sheet. So once I get the sheet, then I can easily go to the row, column, and interact with the Excel sheet. Now this is 3 done. Now I will try to write my test cases. So first I'll be writing the test case for the keyword driven framework. So what we are doing, we are again defining a driver object, web driver driver. We are having the before and after method. So the before method we are creating an object for the web driver equal new Chrome driver. In case you want to deal with the other browser, you can do it. Or you already seen like how to do the cross browser thing, those kind of step also you can write it if required. And we are using here we did not use diver because we have used different variable. That is a variable you can give anything. You don't need to confuse that why I'm not giving web driver diver. So that's fine. And we are trying to maximize the browser, and with the help of the after method, every time we want to quit the browser. That's all. We have written. Now this is our test cases. Like test Facebook page. This is the method name. And we are giving exception. What we are doing? We are trying to create an object for all the classes, whatever we have used. Like read file keyword. Okay. This is the okay properties file. Okay, Excel file, whatever we have creating the object. First, then your properties file I am creating object and keyword operation I am creating the object. Now in the properties file, I am creating one more object where with the help of the object of the properties class I am calling this method. Right, this method I am call. So automatically all the details from this properties file will be coming here in this object. Now With the help of the Excel object, I am trying to create a call this seed method, right? This is the seed method. Okay, it is returning seed. So it is coming here. So what I am doing, I am trying to create that, call that object, giving that, calling that method called read Excel. Okay, this is the method I have written, and here we are giving the actual path of the Excel, right? This is the current part of the project. Nothing. This is the current part. Then this is the name of the Excel sheet, and this is the name of the sheet name. So that is the way I'm coming here, and I'm storing in the test sheet variable. Now I'm trying to get the row number. Okay, so I'm getting the last row and first row. So in case you are having 10 row, so your last row number will be 10 and your first row number will be 1. So what is the difference? 9. But you are having 10 row. That is the reason you can add with plus 1 to get the exact row count. Last row minus first row plus 1. It will give you the total row count. You could see this is the thing, and I am just calling this method. I am getting the total row count. Now I am starting with 1. Why? Because my first row is having the header. This part I do not want to run it. So that is the reason I am using the for loop where I am starting with I equal to 1, I less than row count I plus plus, and I am getting the row. Okay, from the I. Now what logic I am giving here? Let's understand it very, very importantly. If cell value, 0th cell, equal to 0, means there is no value, then these are the actions. So I am trying to call this method, right? Whatever we have written, and we are trying to perform the upper action from the cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3, and cell number 4. And we are trying to print it also, because in the Excel, cell number 1 to 4, all our actions are there, and cell number 1 is nothing but our test cases. In case test cases having the value, it will simply print out. But in case this test cases column is not having value, it will do the action. It is not value, so it will be doing the action. So that is the logic I am implementing here. Okay. In case value is there, it will be adding called new test case started and getting the test case name and test case execution started. That is the it will be there. Now let's try to run it. I'll be explaining it one more time. Let's run it for now. So you can run it because we are reading it. Excel sheet, you can Excel sheet can be open. There not be a problem. But whenever you are reading and writing, Excel sheet should be always closed. Otherwise, it will not allow you. Okay, you could see all the test cases will try to execute it, but it will be still considered single test cases because here objective is the keyword, but not about the how many test cases we are doing it. Okay, you could see all execution done. If you go to the consoles, you could able to see the details. Okay, all the thing got executed. So initially, first one is the test case is running. This is the like actually row number 1. Okay, you could see this is the test case, no action, right? It is what it is doing. It is printing like that. New test cases. This is the test cases name and test execution started. Then your actions, right? This is the actions. Facebook URL, what URL you want to pass it. Then second test cases, these are the steps. Set text what value. Third test cases, what are the action you are doing. Fourth test case, what are the actions you are doing. Like that. So this is all about the keyword framework. Now let's understand the hybrid framework. So other stuff is still same where you need to change the logic of the hybrid framework. Because hybrid framework, you are trying to read the data as well as you are trying to write the data. Okay, sorry, you try to kind of use the keyword. Apart from that, you was to do the different variation of the data, right? Data driven plus hybrid keyword driven framework approach. So we are again defining some global variable for web driver. Here we are giving web driver, and here we are using a data provider concept as well. Okay, so first we will be providing the data provider will be identifying. At the data provider name we are giving as hybrid test data. We are trying to create a method where we are first storing as an object null. We are creating the object for this, like this file, Excel file, and now we are going to the sheet. We are getting how many row number is there. Okay, here we'll be just kind of not considering this first row. So we already get that total 5 number of column is there. Okay, then we are starting with the row equal to 0, I equal to 0, I less than row count, and we are getting the row where row plus 1, and then we are also like going for the other loop for the column, and we are trying to convert it as a string. Okay, every new line we are returning the object, and that object whatever we are getting here, we are trying to just use it, and here we are giving some different logic. Same way we are giving some passing some the argument. like test cases name, keywords, object, whatever column we are having, 5 different column. Here, what logic we are giving? If test cases column and test cases length, right, not equal to 0. In case it is a null and not equal to 0, then it will be doing the action. That's all. And every time it will be opening the browser and it will do the action. So here again same way we are trying to create the object for the properties file, and we are trying to call the keywords wherever we are having the perform method. Okay, that is the thing we are doing it. Now let's try to run it. Let's see what's happening here. So it will be every desk it will be open a new browser. That logic we can change it later point of time, but I've given it for simplicity. The logic can be anything. This is a very simple logic I have tried to establish here. Okay, all test case execution done. Now go to your test case and see. Yes, you could see now. Default shoot, default test, that is fine because we are trying to run it from the Excel sheet, sorry, from the class level at only. And this is your like package name dot class name, and this is the every step will be considered as a test case here. Every step, and you could see test login is the method name. Same method is getting called right every time. Okay, this is the test login method, and first it is just only the test cases name. Second test case is navigating to the URL, but your other part is blank. Okay, and this is the like third second test cases. You could see the steps. Other value is there, like which located identifying what value it is passing all the way. So all the step will be considered as the test cases. So you could see here total 20 step, whatever step was there, it is considering as a test case. Right? Total 15 step got executed. In the Excels, excluding the first column, how many is there? Total is 15 step, right? 15 row, excluding the first row because it's coming till 16. Okay, so that is the way happening. So let's explain one more time. So what you need to do, you need to first create the project, Maven project. You can give the proper project artifact ID, group ID, you can create the project. Once project is ready, okay, you can just go to the pom.xml file, you can add these three dependency, Selenium, you can add the testng dependency also, as apart from that Apache py dependency, py and py-ooxml dependency. So that Selenium thing you can use it, apart from that you can try to interact with the Excel sheet also with the help of the Apache py. Now what you can do, you can try to create a folder structure properly in the SRC test Java folder, like different packages. One is for Excel input output operation, one is for only operation, one is for test cases. Now you can create that Excel sheet what I already created. Okay, you can have some rows to define so that easily as people can easily understand what is the objective of this column. So this is the way. First is test cases, second is keyword, object type, value. And here we can implement the logic wherever test case will be there, the remaining column, other column will be blank. And wherever test case is blank, we'll be having all our logic or the keyword. So we are having first object, test case objective is that we want to navigate to the home page. So we are creating our own custom name called navigate to URL. And in the URL, we don't need to identify any object. Just we need to pass the Facebook URL. This is the variable we are defining, and this variable value will be just defining in the properties file. Now we want to just log into the home page with invalid credential. So navigating to the URL, then set text in the email field with the ID we are identifying, and we are giving the value. Similarly, password also we are identifying. Now click. We are just click is operation, so no need to give any value. We are identifying with the help of the name, and we are trying to use the object. Okay. Then other way we are adding test cases. In the last test case, we are trying to click on the forgotten password link. So we are identifying that one and we are clicking on the link. That's all we are doing. Okay. Now we are creating the object or properties file where all the variable whatever we are giving, we are trying to give the value. In case URL, we are giving the URL value. This is the Facebook URL value we are giving it. Okay. And other thing, whatever element locator given, we have tried to give the corresponding value with using the same variable name. So this is the Facebook username, and with the help of the ID we are identifying. So ID name, variable name we are giving it here. So that is the, in case you are having 20 field, you can add it one by one as a key value pair is equal to sign. Okay. Now this file we are trying to read it, properties file. How can you read it? we are creating a method called read properties file, where you could already see we are creating a object globally for the properties class, and we are creating a method called get repository. We are trying to read the same file from the same project, plus we are loading it all, and this is our method name we are storing, right? So if you call the method, all the thing will be loaded. Now what we are doing, we are trying to create a class called keyword operations, where we are defining a global variable for the web driver. We are creating constructor here for the keyword operations. Now we are trying to create a method here to get the return type with the help of the element locator technique. In case it is equal to XPath, it will be returning by XPath, which Selenium can only understand. Like diver.find element by.xpath, similarly by.class name, all the locator. In case nothing is matched, it will throw the error, wrong object type. Then we are creating another method. Whatever actions we have defined, we want to like give the steps properly. So click means diver.find element is nothing but the by.locator technique dot click. Similarly, set text, you want to set the text after identify the object, send keys, value, navigate to URL. So you can have n number of keyword in case you define. So you can use it here, and you can define it. That's a one time. Now you want to read the Excel sheet. How will be creating a method for reading the Excel sheet? For going to the Excel path, Excel file name, and the Excel sheet name. And we are creating a file and file input. So we are reading it and returning the sheet name. Now, in case it is a keyword driven framework, like what logic we are doing, normally we are creating a method, and we are just trying to define a global variable web driver, and before and after method. In the before method, we are trying to launch the Chrome browser, maximize it. In the after method, we are going to quit the browser. And this is our test cases name. And most of the time, we'll be creating all the object for all the three class whatever written, and we will try to call the method. And what logic we are giving it, we are trying to get the row number, total row number after accessing the sheet, and then we are getting that like iterating through I equal to 1 to like less than size. Why? Because in the first row there is a header there, and we are giving some logic. In case in the row number is not having any value, it will just do the operation. In case row number is having some value, it will just add that. This is a test cases, and you can have some predefined name and post text also in the with the test cases name. That's the logic we are doing, and you can run it. And hybrid framework is different logic we are doing, because it's a keyword plus data driven framework. So using testing data provider concept, we are trying to like get store the data first, whatever you want to row, read it using some enhance for loop. Sorry, I mean using that inner and outer loop. Okay, and then we are trying to have our test case logic, whatever we are giving. In case your test case is not having any value, every time it will open the new browser and it will do the operation. That's all. Now you can convert the project to testng, and you can come to the testng.xml file also, and you can have your test case class name, right? Should name, test name you can give it, and any package name dot class name you can give it. You can run all the class at the same time. That's the way it's not possible. It is possible. Now you can try to run, so it will be running it with the help of the testng suite. Instead of testng test, you can run multiple test cases accordingly. So that is the way you can try to create your own project. It will be running same way, but it's just like the testng XML file. So what we have tried to cover it today. So in the last session, you already seen about data-driven framework, where we are just trying to execute the same test with the different variation of the data. But today we have learned how to write the Excel sheet. Okay, with the help of the Apache PY. So you can first create a sheet. Okay, or in case sheet is available, you can also try to write it also. Now you learned about the keyword-driven framework. With the first, we'll create the keywords, and with the help of the keyword, we'll try to perform the actions. Right? It will be having a lot of advantages and disadvantages. And hybrid framework is nothing but the combination of data driven and keyword driven framework. But hybrid framework is very popular in the market. Why? Because with the help of the hybrid framework, not only you can use the keyword, apart from that you can also use the data driven testing, so that every test case you can try to execute 10 times with different variation of the data. Okay, so that's all from today's session. Thank you.